Right, all the spoilers are out. Well, almost all of them. Now, Fable is pretty much anyone's guess. Is it going to be a nice fancy alt art reprint of something, powerful? Is it going to be a weapon? I don't know. Thrown out there, right? I think some of us think that could be an interesting idea. Is it going to be brute? Is it just going to be another gem? We'll have to wait and see. But, this next part. Okay, let's just start off by saying, everything LSS are doing to reward the community and actually playing the game is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But the specialized headpieces are, unfortunately, I do say unfortunately, part of the armory kits. And why I say this is unfortunate, these are the first, in my perspective, decently powered Rs that actually serve as an alternative option for a lot of min-max picks, right? Legendaries or just best in slot for any given class. So these are powerful cards, powerful pieces of equipment that would be a great thing to chase in the set as a cold form. But they're part of the armor kit. And when they're part of the armor kit, it is very doubtful that they will be part of the set, right? They're not most likely going to be printed as a cold foil. So again, what's arguably the best mid-level cold foil in the set are just absent, and that is gonna obviously take a toll on the boxes, right? It's really emphasizing that the boxes are to be played with or to be opened en masse and supply the secondary market with the numerous singles that they need to function. Other than that, if you're opening it to chase cards, you're gonna get shafted most of the time, right? Again, the old premise of, hunting for at least the cold foil, because cold foil was the big thing to collect, stick in a binder, save it for a couple of years. There's just too much bloat in the set, right? I'm highly expecting, again, every other piece of equipment is going to have cold foil, rather than doing the weapons and the armor kits. Again, they're picking the specialized equipment, which would have been a really impactful cold foil. Now, on the one hand, again, it's fantastic for the players, right, to actually reward people who are enjoying the game and coming together as a community. That's always been fantastic. LSS's prerogative has always been, again, to make that really rewarding. The whole CNC deathmatch shtick, right, is fantastic. But I do think it is a bit of a blow to the set and just the general trying to collect the set other than buying singles. I still haven't purchased boxes, and I'm highly doubtful that I do. Maybe one case, but from personal perspective, right, I usually get about 4 cases at least of a set to open. Hunt for a few legendaries, hunt for, again, cold foils, some majestics, and then flesh out the collection just by buying singles. I don't like buying singles. I like chasing cards. I know, it feels better to open it yourself. Obviously, I cave, and there's certain cards that are too hard to pull that you have to grab off the singles market. But in all honesty, master set of the cold foils, I doubt it's going to be over a case. Legendaries, a bit more, obviously. So I should say a master set of the average cold foils. Legendaries, probably looking at case or 2 cases, right? There's only 5. It's probably going to be 2 cases at most. The Marvels, that's probably the big questionable, but I'm pretty sure for what I usually spend to open, again, I could buy full master sets of everything I want. But that's fine. Again, their prerogative has been clearly stated in, which one am I looking for? This one, right? So we believe the secondary card market is the trading cards. So their goal is to make Fab an all-time classic trading card game in respect to the secondary card market. And as a company, they're fantastic, right? You don't see any other TCG going hand in hand with their secondary card market, right? It's an obstacle for them to really overcome because it's a portion of their proceeds. With the incentive that they've offered, all of it's fantastic. It's just a different direction to sort of get used to coming off of other trading card games. Like, I don't collect Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon anymore. One Piece is the only thing I still dabble in a little bit, but it's just been Flesh and Blood for the last few years, and only Flesh and Blood. So it is a bit of an adjusting period, but it is definitely the right direction, right? And sticks with their policy. Right, but that aside, let's jump into the spoilers. So we're not going to go card to card. We're going to go, how shall we do this? Probably just the Majestics and the expansion slot, I think should be fine, just to give an overall perspective of the set and how it's shaping up, because, again, these are the most impactful cards. So, send packing. When this attacks a hero, banish a card from their arsenal. When the chain link resolves, if they then hits, return the banished card to its owner's hand. Fantastic take on Command & Conquer from a brute perspective, right? You've got the Intimidate type effect. it fits the bill. 3 for 6 and Arsenal Disruption. Wonderful card. I don't know if it's going to be their best card, but it's kind of looking like it. So we are continuing the trend of cycling around, giving every class their own Command and Conquer, which is fine, fantastic, right? Good alternatives. I would say this is kind of just better. The fact that you get to look at the Arsenal card, you can then decide if you need to, reinforce the attack, if you're running Pummel, if you're running reactions, or if you're fine with them getting it back because you can now scout the card. So it is fairly decent in that perspective. Show No Mercy, the Rhino specialization, fits the bill, bit flat, not as exciting as some of the other specializations we see, but, it's going to be a solid card. What more can you ask for? Cast Bones, reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. Create a Might token for each card with 6 or more revealed this way. The revealed cards on the top of your deck in a random order. If you control 6 or more Might tokens, create an Agility token. Wow. This is going to be huge. Probably just run Cast Bones and then attack actions. And God, you could just have a real stomping turn. Even at, like 3 or 4 Might tokens, that's still huge buff. You see there's no go again, so it's a bit more setup, right? It's a bit slower for Brute, more in the vein of Guardian, but it's definitely worth it, even with the Agility token. So you set up, your Might tokens get consumed, your Agility tokens get consumed, and then you just have one powerful attack into the other. You use it to buff up a smaller attack, whatever you want. It's definitely going to be a solid card to theme a deck around at the very least, I think. Reckless Charge now. KO specialization. So this really opens up Cheyenne, right? What hat is she gonna wear? That's my big question. I'm feeling like Knucklehead, Reckless Charge, ready to roll, and just Gambler's Gloves and try to go for a huge payoff, right? Set up and then, I don't know, just try and go for a huge turn. So roll a 6-sided die, gain action points equal to half the number rounded down. If you roll a 6 on a die this turn, draw a card. So the downside to it is you roll a 1. It's just a flat card, no go again, so that's it. But anything else is fine. All right, you get a 2 or a 3, then at least this has go again. No payoff, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. And then anything higher, and you're just gaining bonuses. Get a 6, you get a card and 3 action points. That is going to be just a huge turn. Definitely be cool in Blitz KO. New KO, at least you've got the old specialization, but it is nice to see them still stick with the dice gimmick. And then lastly for Brute, we have No Fear. As an additional cost to play this bench, any number of cards with 6 or more from your hand at the beginning of the end phase, return them to your hand. Next time you'll be dealt damage this turn, prevent X of the damage, where X is 2 plus the number of cards banished to play this. Interesting block mechanic. It's instant, so you can play it near the end of a chain. You don't have to sacrifice your attacks to block, and you get the bonus too. So with one card, it sort of breaks even. I don't know if you'd want to go more. You'd probably just throw on 1 or 2 cards if you really don't want to block with them. But even just into 1 card to save is pretty decent with the 2+. A lot of options coming out of the woodworks to not run any real defensive cards that actually, block or defense reactions, but just the new instant or even some of the attacks that have, defend abilities. We'll skip over the rares. There are a few reprints, right? Bare Fangs, Pack Hunt, Wild Ride, they're the reprints. So there is, I would say 10 or 20%, feels about there, glossing through the cards. I think it's a 250 set, and off the top of my head, there's, what do you count as 9 or 3? Plus then the generic cards, which we'll get to. A little disappointed, but it fills out the set. Again, the main prerogative is setting up to have a blast of limited play, more so than anything else. Would be nice, right, to get some newish cards, even if they're not powerful, just something fun to play around with. But there's definitely more in the set than I could have possibly asked for, again, for Melody and China, which might go to. Okay, Guardian. Legendary, definitely go look at that. So, Gauntlets of Iron Will. Win this defense. The next time an attack would gain damage this turn, power. What's the correct term? I always go back and forth, and sometimes I just skip it, because I'm never sure. Instead, it gains that much -1. I should really just look up the glossary. So it has temper. So you can block with it twice, and it's actually more, potentially, a 3 than a 2, so a 5 block. Great option to run in the hand slot, especially with some of the new mechanics. I gotta say, other than the specialized shield, just because it's one-dimensional, all the elves of this set are fantastic. Everything feels drastically usable. As for the M's, we've got Big Bet. Again, going to be fantastic in China to combo with everything. Prime to Fight. If you controlled a Vigor token this turn, this costs -1. We went over this last time. It is a big card, right? So it's potentially a 3/11, right? Off of the 1 minus Vigor, and then Vigor itself generating 1, Might token giving you 1, and then its effect giving 1. That is a nice card, as long as you've met the criteria. Even just the Vigor, right? If you have Vigor and it being a 3 for 9, right? So a 1 card for 9, that is nice. Golden Sun, nice payoff with gold, destroy the gold, and becomes a 4/10 with Overpower. Solid card. Boast. This gets +X while defending, where X is twice the number of clashes you've won this turn. Now that's interesting. There are a few, obviously, defensive clash cards. And I suppose since it's already 3 block, any bonus is still great. You win 1, it's a 5 block, that's fantastic. You win 2, that's just pretty godly. And it being blue, it's definitely a strong defensive card with just a ton of upside. Trounce. When this defends, Clash. So again, Trounce into Boast. With the attacking hero, put the revealed cards on the bottom of their owner's deck, then Clash again. So you trigger Clash twice, and if a hero wins both clashes, they create a gold, might, and Vigor token. So you do have to win both, but winning 1 would still feed into your other Clash cards. So it gives you 2 chances to activate Boast, and if you do get both, then huge payoff. A lot of token generation for Guardian. I like that being their shtick, more than just Seismic Surge being all tokens. I know they've had a lot of auras, but yeah, just flood the board and then have a huge payoff. Okay, Colossal Bearing, lay down the law, Smack of Reality. Their reprints, correct? They were in Round the Table with Breverence. Don't think there's anything else. None of the artwork sticks out to me. I should mention the weapons are reprints, right? The token weapons, Centauri Saber, the Mandible Claw, and no, the token Guardian one is new. High Riser, yeah, one-handed. So they've all got one-handeds, so you're most likely just taking both, well, 2 one-handed weapons, which is interesting, dynamic-wise. Is there enough tokens? There should be enough tokens with the 2 slot. But again, it gives credence to the fact that they could have put adult tokens instead of making them majestic. Well, I suppose unlike Bright Lights, it would be a little bit worse, since most likely you want, obviously, 2 one-handers, except KO, who can't have 2. Okay, Warrior, Owl. Do we get another Owl? No, we've already gone over the Owl, so that's fine. We've got Blade, Flurry. Target weapon attack gets +2. Your next weapon attack this turn gets +2. So, no requirements. Not one hand, not 2 hand, not dagger, not swords, not axes. Great all-around attack reaction. Decent buffs. And sets up for 2 hits. Good in. Shift the Tide of Battle. Target warrior attack with power greater than its base gets go again. Next time an opposing hero is dealt damage this turn, create an agility token. I'm liking the payoff, right? So there's a ton of cards that their requirement can be met at any point. So you play them, and then, even if X doesn't deal the damage, you've got chances to do other ones. What I will say is they're all going to be fantastic for Emperor. So all the cards that say the next time they're dealt damage, right? Imagine just setting them all up and then just 1 ping. Even just still taking Waning Moon, is that it? So that you've just got the instant ping at the end of your turn to activate all these effects. Could be a nice setup. Up the ante. Again, fantastic, especially in combination with some of the other specializations. Commanding Performance. The next warrior attack this turn gets +3 until the end of your turn. Your warrior attacks get, when this is defended by 1 or more attack action card, destroy a card in the defending hero's arsenal. Ooh, that's an interesting take on Command and Conquer. And it's warrior attacks. So your weapon counts. Yeah, that's actually, I like that more than the Bruce. All these Command and Conquer alternatives are pretty good. Raise an army. Again, cast specialization. Or Shiners. It's going to be fun. I'm so curious to see what the average sellswords you end up generating is. Okay, is there Majestics for the combo cards? No. Yes. No. No. Never mind. That's fine. There are some new ones. Right? We'll leave it be. There's a good amount as well. I think there's, on average, like 40 cards per class. No, 40 cards between the combo cards. 80-ish cards with the combo cards, right? So obviously there's overlap to allow for the generics, but that is a decent card pool. So there is going to be, I feel, a decent amount of variety in Limited. Okay, on to the generics. We have Nasty Surprise, already talked about that. Pay up. If the defending hero controls gold, this gets overpowered. When this hits hero, gain control of gold token they control. If they don't, deal one. Already gone over that, actually. Ripple away. Instant. Discard this. If an action card would create one or more token this turn, so it creates that many -1 of each of those tokens. Absolutely insane. It's blue. It's breakpoint, right? It's 4. It's 3. And it's an insane effect. This card is just an all-rounder and might end up being an auto-include in most decks. In any matchup, this has a substantial effect. Just the token dismissal, right? Not just gold, any token. I mean, against Betsy, it shuts down all because it's each of those tokens. So each type gets -1 because they're all on the same trigger. At least that's how I'm assuming it works. So it's just so versatile. This has to be the most expensive end of the set. Then we have Standing Order. When this attacks or defends, actually I remember this. This could also be a very expensive card of the set. When this attacks or defends, you may put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. If you do, it gets +2 or +2, right? So it's a 5 block. That's an attack still. Again, there's so many good defensive attacks coming with heavy hitters. 0 cost. Could be a 0/6 if you sacrifice your arsenal, or a 5 block, again, sacrificing your arsenal. If you've slotted in attack, if you've done goofed, if you're trying to save something for payoff, this just gives you the option to cycle it and get a huge upside out of it. Now, it's red, so it does weaken it a little bit, right? For that reason, I think Ripple Away is going to be better. I should also mention, so obviously the art and the card in general sticks out like a sore thumb. So we're expecting from it ninjas at some point. I say some point, right? I don't think it'll be the next set personally, but they do tend to stick, 1 or 2 cards from a distant land in each set, which is flavorful. It's nice. And it fits the namesake, right? Ripple Away. So this is a glimpse of another place. Tenacity, fantastic card. Great follow-up for Melody. Any class where you can have a bunch of small attacks that warrant a card and then just use this as the finisher. But it's going to be fun in Melody. Seduce Secrets, also fun in Melody. Just an instant slot in your arsenal, get 1 extra card in hand, which is a lot more flexible for your turn. Then for the other cards, obviously we have more reprints, Reinforce the Line, Adrenaline Rush, Rally the Rearguard, Trade In, and Lunging Press. Personally, I do think some of these are kind of odd inclusions, but oh well. I assume they're most likely there just to fill out some sort of ratio they want between the classes and generics to make sure that limited drafting goes off without a hitch. I'm sure even the rares, the majority of us, have a good handle on them, although they are a good starting point, I should say, for all new players coming to the game, just picking up heavy hitters to start off. Though some updated arena-themed artwork could have been nice. Still, again, there is a plethora of other goodies in this set to enjoy, but this and the Call for sort of weakens, again, the desire to just open it. There's just going to be so much monotony to sift through. Okay, and then lastly, the expansion slot card. So, we got Ninja right. I didn't think Mechanologist coming off of Bright Lights, but it's a fun card. I don't think it's tournament great. I mean, the temper effect is nice, and then Aether Arc, so we were right about Wizard as well. Now, this one is interesting because it's a UPF card, so it's fun, flavorful, but does kind of feel like a waste. Again, to me, the purpose that's screaming from these cards is to just amp up or give a slight edge to the low heroes, which explains the Mechanologist card, like Tech Low and Max are both low, although this is probably going to be run in Dash, the Magneto hands. Right, the temper effect is just nice. The bonus effect, I don't think it's that relevant just yet. Gold is an item, yeah, so you can steal gold. So that is something nice from it, but I don't think it's too substantial. Okay, we'll go through them one by one again, though. So Graven's cool, awesome card. Reminds me of Frostmourne. Would be cool if we got a ninja variant. I really want to throw a bunch of knives, and having a returning knife would be fantastic. But yeah, so piercing, good. Fact that you can then call it back, good. You're probably taking one of these and then one, standard dagger where you can disrupt your opponent's X given their other on-hit effects. Coerce, Tendency. Look at the top 3 cards of defending hero's deck, put them back in any order, then banish the top card of the deck. If you complete a contract this way, your assassin attack gets go again. So you can look at the 3, you banish one off of this, and I assume you banish one still off of the hit effect if you actually hit. So you'd probably get 2 triggers of whatever that card's specific contract effect is. So this is a insane card. I didn't actually read into it much the first time, but that's pretty fantastic. Double the contract, and you can actually look and try to plan it. So you're almost guaranteed to always get one at the very least. Okay, then we have Ancestral Harmony. Your attacks with combo get +1 this turn, so a blanket buff. Bash top card of your deck. If it has combo, you may play it this turn. Not really much to say, it's just a great card, right? Blanket buff, and the potential to replace it, open with it, and then go for a big chain. Evo Magneto. So temper is the big thing, for me at least, to take away from this. One cost is also nice in the fact that it's blue. When this defends, you may destroy a card under it if you do gain control of target item with a cost 0/1 controlled by the attacking hero. So yeah, 2 block and the chance to steal something, and then a 1 block. Definitely a decent card. I don't think it will make an impact. It'll probably be included, but it doesn't really shake up a deck or add to it. So in terms of Living Legend, right, they're going to be what they currently are. It'll definitely help out normal Dash, I think. Because I feel like I remember Arms was the Evo that was run, right? And that's why they're targeting Arms. Correct me if I'm wrong. Judge, Jury, Executioner. Legendary Azalea specialization. If this has an aim counter, it gets when this hits hero, they discard all but 1 from their hand. Fantastic, just more shutdown as Ranger. Then we have Reel In. Look at the top X+1 cards of your deck, where X is the cost. Choose up to 4 traps, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. And then reload. It's definitely well-rounded, and I would assume it gets played mainly because it's instant and has a reload effect, and then you're just looking to see if it's bonus. So I could see people just playing this for 0. Just to use as a 0 reload. Then you still get to look at 1 card. If you get a trap, you get a trap. If you don't, it's no biggie. But it does have a huge upside if you can draw, at least 3 traps. Just being able to feed into your other arrow attacks. Sonata Galaxia. This costs -1 to play for each rune chant you control. Search your deck for a Runeblade aura with cost X or less and put it into the arena. Then shuffle. If X is 2 or more, this gets go again. I don't know the average cost of an aura, of Runeblade auras. So if it's not great math in that scenario, but I assume there is cheap auras. So yeah, so it's probably a decent card. Aether Arc. Deal 1 damage to each opposing hero. Create a Ponder token for each hero dealt damage this way. UPF Madness. I think Chain Lightning is a fun one for UPF, Chain Lightning Wizard. So this is up there. Maybe a hint at, again, a revisit Aria, but swapping around the elements. Dissolve Reality. Each hero puts all cards in their arsenal on the bottom of the deck and creates a Ponder token. So it's a great, again, Command and Conquer alternative. While they do get the Ponder token, doesn't impact their turn until they end. So for you, it's the chance to put a different card into your arsenal. For them, it's disrupting their arsenal and then giving them payoff. So I think it's definitely worth it. Has go again, 0 cost. It's still a 3 block. Just another good card for the toolkit. And then, of course, Luminaris. Right? What Prism needs. Nothing else really needs to be said about it. Old Luminaris, or not old Luminaris, middle Luminaris? Celestial Fury. Never going to be played again with this card. Though I would be interested to see if they somehow come up with, a toolkit that works around Celestial Fury. Off memory, I'm pretty sure its ability is just so bad, right? It's just so nerfed. We should be able to find off a Fury, surely. Yeah, look at that. So was it pay 2 and you only get 1 go again? Yikes. Okay, so that is the spoilers. All done. It's shaping up to be a good set. It's going to be a blast. All the heroes look fun and interactive and, a few new takes. Not so much for Brute, but at least the new KO mechanic is interesting. The consistency with Beat Chest looks good. I said the similar thing with Bright Lights, right? Sets are made to be played. And yeah, just for me personally, take a little bit of adjustment to go from, gearing up and buying boxes to crack and sift through and, go through, a couple hours enjoying the cards and hunting for, the real goodies. I think if the headpieces weren't taken out, then I would have probably been interested in opening it. But with the headpieces being in the armor kit, your 1 cold foil is just not enough to incentivize me to do the normal trend that I do and buy a few cases, collect a bunch of bulk, and look for the interesting cards. Personally, I don't go out of my way to collect, except for the Fables. They're the only thing. Otherwise, it's just cards I want to play and, seem cool. Still looking for a melody here in Australia. Anyway, that'll do it. Hope you enjoy. See ya.